I'm going to be talking about the psychological responses to injury, and there are quite a few different psychological responses, and these can damage you in different ways depending on what sort of person you are. First, I'm going to be talking about anger. If a player sustained a harsh injury and they've just come back from injury, they would have been very angry at the other player for causing this injury in the first place, and they may not be focused on the game when they come back in. They may be out to get revenge. They may want to injure other players, which would obviously result in them getting in trouble and probably getting banned from playing for a bit. The next I'm going to talk about is anxiety. Anxiety would set in as soon as an injured player knows what's going on, really, when they sustain an injury, because they may be worried about whether this is going to affect them for life or whether it's just going to affect them for a few weeks. If it's a serious injury, the player would usually know that it's quite serious when it happens, so this would make them very anxious and they'd be very worried about what's going on, and they'd obviously want to know how long the recovery time is going to take and when they can get back to playing what they love to do. It's also, anxiety would affect them when they come back into the game because of the past injury. They would feel anxious that it may happen again, and they'd be very worried to sort of get stuck in there in case they sustain another injury. Next, depression. Depression is one of the worst psychological effects in my opinion, and this could affect an injured player massively if they're out for a long time, especially with footballers, because they devote their lives to playing, and if they sustain a large injury and it's going to put them out for a long amount of time, they probably get pretty upset because they wouldn't be doing the one thing they like doing, and they'd probably be very affected by the fact that they might not be able to do it again, or they don't know how long they've got till they do it again. So along with isolation as well, they'd be isolated from their teammates. Everyone else would be out enjoying themselves and still playing. It'd be a very hard time for a player. The next one I'm going to talk about is frustration. That would definitely set in, because if you sustain an injury and you can't play, you'd get pretty mad at yourself, and you'd be going through the rehabilitation process and you'd get pretty frustrated with how long it takes, because you just want to get back and play again. And you'd be mad at yourself for, you'd think it's your own fault for letting yourself get the injury, so this would also stress you out a lot. And finally, I'm going to talk about the isolation from teammates whilst you're injured. This is obviously going to be bad because you won't be seeing your teammates for a long time, and that could affect sort of chemistry between you and the other players. When you come back into the squad, you may feel like a bit of an outsider, and they may have got new players in whilst you're not there, and you'll have to get back in, so you'll just feel like you're a bit left out, and this would affect you quite a lot because it would make it would psychologically hurt you. It would hurt your feelings because you may not be part of the squad anymore.